Hi there.
Hello. Okay, so here we go. So we're broadcasting live to YouTube. Yes, I wanted to start off this Zoom info question and answer session. I was just talking to Dr. Andrea, who is in Costa Rica. She broke her finger. And wait till you see what I have to share with you. I was astonished as much as I'm sure she was astonished. Let me see if I can get this thing to work. When I show you, here we go on Telegram. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'll be able to share this. So she broke her finger, and check this out. Just 4 days after she broke her finger, nasty break, she patched her finger with the Fantastic 5, and she put the Eon patch right here on this side of her hand. And 4 days later,
Wow. Oh my
look at her,
goodness.
healed after, I should not say healed, it was regenerated and restored in just 4 days with Eon. And it was badly broken. She said her whole hand on this side was all black and blue. And the finger, of course, you can see from the break. And 4 days later, the break, she said her finger was fine. She was able to do everything with it.
Wow.
She just sent this to me last night. So I thought, oh my goodness, this is really quite remarkable. The power of these patches. 4 days, who would have ever thought in 4 days that this is possible?
That's
I'm
incredible.
so excited. Not to mention, think about all the grief and all the inconvenience. And, when you have an injured part of your body, you never think about that part of the body until you injure it. And now you realize how much you use your hands. You realize it's so sensitive, right? Because you're hurting it every time you touch something or something happens, whether it's your hand, your elbow, your knee, your foot, anywhere on the body. This is true. And so now she's free from the burden of the chains of pain, so to speak, because her finger's fine now. Just 4 days. And she sent this picture. She was showing her sister, and her sister was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Just 4 days. So I want to share, we have some other really cool people I just saw this earlier today. So I want to share some testimonials. I just want to show the pictures. Some people shared some extraordinary things here. Here's someone who had an injury, poor thing. You saw he had his finger cut off, and you can see how they're putting the photobiomodulation patch on here. There's a little boy. Look at how this finger was recovered. Isn't that incredible? That's another one. Here is the patches, of course, are intended for humans, not for animals. We have one patch, which is called AccuLife, and it is intended just for animals. Some people do put their used patches on their animals. That is, you can do whatever you want, obviously, with your animals. But here's a dog who clearly had cataracts before. And look at how clear.
Oh my goodness.
No more haziness, no more cataracts. Look at how clear and beautiful, just like a young dog. Pretty remarkable. It works. All you have to do is apply those patches. There's one more here that I wanted to share. This is on Telegram. I saw this right before. Sometimes it's not so easy. I think I've shown this one before, but I still think this is a remarkable, before and after picture showing how someone with scoliosis, with severe scoliosis to the point where there's a fold in the skin, because you can clearly see how the spine goes all the way to the right. And then it kind of, it's like an S shape almost. And there's a fold of skin here. And I believe this was a month after starting on the patches. They still have a curvature of the spine. You can clearly see that. It goes here, goes all the way down the middle, and it kind of goes a little bit here to the left. But the fold of skin is gone because there's been enough structural improvement where this person no longer has the terrible pain that they had. They've got relief from the pain that they had from the condition that caused the curvature of this back. So again, your stem cells have your original blueprint from the time of conception. And as soon as you put the stem cell activation patch on, we become aware and we realize and recognize that our original playbook, we get to have a do-over. We get to unring the bell of whatever damage, whatever conditions, whatever situations have caused damage and problems with our body. Now we get to unring that bell and you get to restore and repair your body really to a younger, healthier state. I'm so happy for this gal because this gal was really uncomfortable before she started on the patches. Here's someone who, from an aesthetic standpoint of view,
Oh my.
he had some age spots, which are pretty typical of people who are north of 60 years of age. And you can clearly see that after wearing the patches for a short period of time, this picture here doesn't say specifically what the time period was, but I would probably venture to say that this was in anywhere from a 3 to 6 month time period. And you could see how these age spots, which is just oxidative stress, both age spots as well as fine lines and wrinkles are all from oxidative stress, it's cellular damage. But you can see not only how much lessened, how much lighter. Look at this one in particular, look how much lighter it is.
Oh,
It's just a matter of time before it completely clears up. In fact, you can see here how much less, look at this cheek right here, this area, look at how clear that is compared to over here. Look at how these deeper grooves, see how much lessened. Look at this, these are very deep here. Look at how much lesser these lines and wrinkles are on him. And so, yeah, it's really fascinating to see. And again, your cells, they don't care inside, outside of your body, top to bottom, inside, outside, left, right, backwards, forwards. If you have cellular damage, their programming is to replace, restore, to regenerate whatever damaged cells with brand new cells, so that whatever it is that you have that's presenting as an issue for you disappears because you have that regenerative aspect to it. Let me see, there's one other one that I wanted to, that I saw earlier that I wanted. This one, this is a lady in her 30s. This woman, oh my goodness. If you watch and listen to this testimonial, I can send you, if you'd like, I'll see if I can email you, Carol, that video testimonial, because her and her husband was on it. And she had over 20 tumors. She had never smoked a day in her life. Yet she had all these tumors in her lungs and basically her whole, we call this area of the body, the trunk of your body is called your thorax. So her thoracic cavity had over 20 tumors. And she had never smoked in her life before. And she was very dismayed at the tremendous amount of tumors that were there. And I believe she was on the patches for 6 months. I'll have to watch that video testimonial again, because that was about 4 or 5 months ago that they shared that testimonial. And you can see that those tumors are all gone here, especially these big ones. They're gone.
wow. That's incredible.
It's just really quite incredible. And her memory was also improving, and her husband was there to remind her of all sorts of things that, you know, it was a great testimonial. And she's like in her late 30s. And needless to say, not only did these tumors disappear, but the pain that she was enduring and struggling and suffering with, she was relieved from that. And she didn't have to wait, you know, months and months and months for that relief. I don't remember exactly if in the video she mentioned when she started to get pain relief, but the big exciting thing is that she no longer has the problem that brought her to the patches. It's not an issue anymore. So she's still on the patches because it's been less than a year. I think she's only been on the patches at the time of the recording. I think it had only been like 5 or 6 months. So she's still on the patches, but the bottom line is that this is a potential for all humans, for all mammals, not just for people, but for all mammals. For people who are into peak performance, I want to share this one over here. There's a guy who, this is the world's strongest man using our energy enhancer patches. That's the patches that I have on my left and my right wrist here. And it's showing that he's wearing our patches. We have a lot of Olympic athletes who have worn the patches through the Olympic competitions and have won, people like Michael Phelps and many other athletes, like women from the Stanford swim team have worn the patches. The Olympic Committee have tested the patches and confirmed that they're non-transdermal, non-invasive. There's no drugs. There's nothing that's going into the body. There's simply a mechanical device that redirects your infrared light. So everybody can wear them during competition because it was confirmed that they're non-invasive, they're organic, holistic, and they're just simply a mechanical device to redirect your infrared light. And so that's why they are also worn oftentimes. Many people will wear them during surgery, during different therapies. There's no contraindication, there's no adverse effects, there's no negative side or potential of you experiencing something negative, because after all these patches are doing, it's turning more of you on. You have less of you on as you have your stem cells turn off as you age. And so this is simply turning on 33% of your previously dormant stem cells. So you can't be allergic to you. You can't have a negative effect against who you already are. So whatever you're eating, whatever you're drinking, whatever therapies, whatever alternate modalities you might be doing, whatever prescription, over the counter, legal, illegal drugs that you might be doing, there's no negative interaction there because it's more of you that is actually turned on. And so it's pretty cool to see the world's strongest man using our energy enhancer, which were in fact the very first patches that our scientist, David Schmidt, invented 23 years ago when he was working for the department. He was not working for the Department of Defense, but he was under contract with the Department of Defense. And he was inventing all sorts of different types of things for them when they approached him and said, listen, is there a chance you might be able to invent something to increase the energy, to enhance the energy of our Navy SEALs? Right now, we're giving them amphetamines, uppers, energy drinks, and those work fantastic. However, they really do take a toll on their bodies. And when they crash, because of course there's the inevitable crash when the effects wear out, this is not good. They're our first line of defense. The Navy SEALs to this day, and I have friends who have been not just in the Navy, but are SEALs themselves. We have Michael Jaco, who has been using the patches for a long time, who I just saw when we were in Orlando. He was a former Navy SEAL. And one of the things that the Navy SEALs were going through at the time, and they still continue to have an issue with, because they are in submarines for up to 90 days at a time. And when you're in a submarine for 90 days at a time, you don't see sunlight for 90 days at a time. You don't get fresh air for 90 days at a time. You're in a pressurized capsule underwater under a great deal of pressure. It's a pressurized capsule. And you have an incredible amount of blue light toxicity from the LED lights, because all the electronic components, all of the lighting fixtures are all LED lights. So we know that LED lights cause insulin resistance. It causes blue light toxicity. It causes inflammation inside of the body. So think about your body being radiated 24/7 for 90 days in a dark pressurized capsule where you don't get any fresh air, no negative ions from the air, from the water that you're bringing in from, because you do get water from the air as it circulates and moves throughout the environment. None of that, right? And so David Schmidt went into prayer and meditation because he is a man of prayer and meditation. He's been inventing since he was a child. And at the time, he happened to be in Mount Shasta when he was in prayer and meditation, asking the divine, what would be the most effective, efficient way to increase energy in a human being? And then he had that divine download. That packet of information was given to him. It was something that did not exist. And then he took that information, went to his lab, started to test it, and lo and behold, it worked. It actually worked. And that was the genesis of the energy enhancer patch. You see this the world's strongest man. He's wearing the energy enhancer patches. You see, he's got them on his left and his right. I'm wearing it on my left. There's 5 locations that they recommend. In fact, if you give me a second, I'll see if I can share with you the 5 locations. Just starting off this broadcast a little different here. But this is the energy enhancer sleeve, because we call an envelope that holds 30 patches a sleeve. It's a specialized envelope that will protect each patch from getting activated by light, called a sleeve. All right. And when you receive your patches, each one of the patches of our photobiomodulation patches, each one of them comes in a sleeve, and each one of them comes with a little instruction booklet like this. And each, apologize for that little, that's basically the universe telling you, pay attention to where these locations are. So these are the locations that we recommend. So if you look at the first one, like this athlete, the strongest man in the world, he is wearing it under his clavicle, just like the first image here in the instruction booklet. If you look at the next one, that's on the pericardium point. That's my favorite place to put the patches. It's right here on my left, 3 finger widths. 1, 2. You see how it's right on that 3rd finger width that I have. It's kind of hard to see because I'm olive complected and they're a tan color. They're a very similar color to my complexion. Let me show you the right one. It's a little easier to see, but just 3 finger widths below. That's where you wear those patches. So that's the pericardium point. Here's a kidney point under your knee. That's also about 3 finger widths below your knee. You also have inside your ankle, right in between the ankle and the Achilles. And then you have above your arm too, which is another acupuncture point. Any one of these points is fine. Or if you find another set of acupuncture points, tan on left, white on right, that work for you, that is fine too. Some people wear them under their feet, a tan patch under the left foot, a white patch under the right foot, and they'll wear a second set on the top part of the body. That's what David Schmidt, the inventor, does. He always wears 2 sets of energy enhancer. That's his preference. I've tried it, but I don't notice a big difference for myself. So I just wear 1 set of patches, and that's more than sufficient for me. That particular patch, what's unique about it, it not only enhances and energizes you, it moves the energy faster in your body. So if you have any reparation that's going on in your body, it's going to happen more quickly because the energy is enhanced and moving faster throughout your body. It increases your heart rate variability, and it also regulates your lymphatic system. It's a phenomenal little patch. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that energy enhancer patch before we move on? Okay. So let's get into the nitty-gritty as we talk about here. I want to share with you
Edgar.
All righty. Edgar, let me know if you have any questions. I'm about to get started here. We're moving on. Shared a couple testimonials. So here we go. Let me share this screen with you now that this is open. So today we are just going to focus on the mother stem cell activation patch. So we are going to talk about the mother stem cell activation patch. And before we do that, we want to make sure that we are compliant, following the rules, doing what we're supposed to, crossing our T's, dotting our I's. So these patches, first of all, we never make any medical claims. I am not a doctor. I am a holistic care practitioner that specializes in neurology, and I repattern the brain to basically release physical and emotional trauma from the brain. I'm poly-certified. I have many different certifications. I originally started off in emergency medicine and then went into the first pediatric neurology as a direct result of my son almost dying from Guillain-Barré when he was 11 years old. Then eventually over time that kind of morphed into more general neurology, and I continued to get all sorts of different certifications. And when my son was in the hospital for 11 and a half weeks, he almost died from Guillain-Barré. I started a self-directed PhD in pediatric neurology and have never stopped to be amazed ever since. And I will probably be learning up until the day that I pass on, because I absolutely am fascinated with different alternative modalities to restore the body, and the brain is so incredibly fascinating. And there's so much for us to learn, so much for us to discover. And sometimes applying little things, like I know that one of the recommendations that I had given to Carol when she started on the patches was based on my mentor, Dr. Jack Kruse, who is a brain surgeon. He actually does brain surgery, neck surgery, and spine surgery. And he talks about photomodulation at great length every single day. For the last 20 years, he's a huge proponent of photobiomodulation. What's photobiomodulation? Photo is light, biology, because we have biological bodies. Modulation is movement. So it's wearable light technology. That being said, he talks about how getting out in the sun doesn't cost us anything. It's part of our natural state of being. We all mammals, all living beings on the planet, plant or animal, we all need sunlight. We need photosynthesis. And so one of the things that I recommend, and one of the things that I practice myself, sorry about that. I'm not sure why my phone is blowing up, and I got to figure out how to stop this. This is my computer that's making this sound, not my phone. Okay, thank goodness it stopped. Sorry about that, guys. Anyhow, so as I was saying, one of the things that I myself practice as well, and that I recommend to anyone who gets started on the patches, as well as my patients and clients, is that you get out first thing in the morning, after sunrise, before 10 o'clock in the morning, for you to get 10 minutes of sunlight front and back of your body, 5 minutes each side. Preferably get on the ground, on the dirt, the grass, the sand, on all fours with hands and feet on the ground, so that you get grounded at the same time. You're getting those electrons, you're getting that from the earth. You're also getting negative ions as well. But you're getting that sunlight, which automatically, the moment the sun touches all of your skin, it's not only coming through your eyes. You want to be facing east towards the sunrise. Your eye is not just a camera to see. Your eye is a circadian rhythm clock to regulate your melatonin and your serotonin. Your melatonin is the master antioxidant that puts you to sleep. Serotonin is what gets you up in the morning. However, your eye is a circadian rhythm clock that, in addition to setting your melatonin, which is tied to your melanin in your eye, your melanopsin receptors in your brain, but it also regulates all the cycles and rhythms and timing of all the organ systems of the body. So it's doing a whole lot more than just you using it as a camera to see and to focus on things, okay? And the moment the sunlight comes through your eye and it touches your photoreceptors on your skin, because your skin basically has millions of little eyeballs that are receiving this, at that point of contact, your pulse oxygen goes up. So the oxygenation level of your body goes up. And for people who wear pulsometers, they see how their pulse ox goes up the moment they're out in the sun. It doesn't take long for that to get activated. It's almost instantaneous. So just 10 minutes of sunlight, 5 minutes on each side, no sunglasses, no sunblock, no sunscreen, no contact lenses. You want to be, as you came into this world, especially for people who have any issues with reproductive organs, people who have, any kind of issues with either their breasts or their prostate or their reproductive organs and so forth. If you have any kind of diagnosis or issue kind of going on, all the more reason to expose that to sunlight, because you're going to get UVA and UVB light at that time of the day. And that time of the day is the only time where you can create, through sunlight, through photosynthesis, much like a plant, When you're exposed to UVA light, UVA will help you create vitamin A in the body, which turns into a hormone in the body. And UVB helps you create vitamin D in your body, which also turns into a hormone in the body. Super important. You can't get that through oral supplementation. It really does need to be done nascently through natural means, not through man-made means. The other thing I'm going to bring, because we're talking about melatonin, is the danger of taking melatonin supplements. You don't need to believe me. You can do your own research. However, Dr. Jack Kruse talks at great length about how dangerous it is to take melatonin supplements, because when your body, this is a man-made form of melatonin that your body then ingests. It's not your natural melatonin that your body has created. So part of the digestion of that melatonin, what happens as the body takes it in, it starts to pull melanin from your eye. This is the chemistry behind what happens when you take oral melatonin. It pulls, and this happens in children who take melatonin as well as adults. It will pull the melanin from your eye and melanopsin from your brain. And what they've been starting to see over the last 10, 15 years in record numbers, not just in his practice, but a lot of ophthalmologists see this too, is people will have retinal tears, problems with their retina. And so they're also starting to see eye issues that we used to only see in adults that were 60, 70, 80 years old. We're now starting to see in teenagers and 20-year-olds because they've been taking melanin for years because their pediatricians have recommended this. Dr. Jack Kruse himself has actually fired people that have worked for him because they were recommending melatonin. He says it's so incredibly dangerous to take melatonin supplements. So I advise you, if you want to get more information about that and learn more about the science, learn about the neurochemistry that's going on, just look up Dr. Jack Kruse on YouTube. There's a plethora of information. I share his information quite a bit. You can also check out whatever, he's also on Facebook. You can check him out there too. So moving on here, we do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer protocols. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. No medical claims are being made with the suggestions. These are all suggestions and recommendations. So no medical claims are being made with the suggestions here. This is intended for human use only. However, you can do whatever you want in your household. If you choose to apply your patches on your animal, on your child, you're more than welcome to do so because you're the parent, right? All right. So this work that David Schmidt has so brilliant brought to humanity was all based on the 1973 work of Lauren Picard, who discovered that GHK-Cu copper peptide activated a third of your previously dormant stem cells, turning those genes to a younger, healthier state. So what are stem cells? When you turn those genes on and it activates your stem cells, what are stem cells? Stem cells are pluripotent cells. Pluri means plural, potent is potential. So pluripotent cells are cells that have many, many, many different potentials. So when you were born, your mother had an ovum, your father had a little sperm, and at conception, those two united to complete all the information that's required to form you as a little embryo in your mother's womb. And so the process of cellular multiplication, because all those stem cells, all 23,688 of them, are now ready, willing, and able to create you into an embryo in your body. It has all the programming that you need from conception until death, until you shake off what we affectionately call this meat suit. It's good to know that by the time you're just barely 30 years old, 50% of your stem cells turn off by the time you're 30, and 90% of them turn off by the time you're 60. And I like to have people think about their bodies are like a housing unit. Just as you have a home, we're in a home as we do this broadcast, and so are you. And our bodies are the temporary housing unit that house the energy, the personality that is you. And if you think about your stem cells, which is a smaller component of your body, your stem cells are like printer ink cartridges that you find in your printers to make color and black and white copies. And so when you have a brand new ink cartridge, when you start off as a baby, you have 100% of your stem cells that are available to replicate and duplicate and regenerate anything that's going on in your body. That's why if a 5, a 10, a 15-year-old cuts their finger, the next day that cut's gone, right? You don't see a 10 or a 15-year-old with gray hair, wrinkles. You don't see them with heart problems and issues like that. No, that is something that doesn't happen until much, much later in life as you have less and less stem cells to replace and to regenerate whatever damaged cells you have in the body. So how do the patches work? So again, the patches, these beautiful, brilliant, masterful devices are simply a mechanical device to redirect your infrared light. The patches work through redirection of your infrared light inside your body. If I were to put a thermometer in your mouth, most people have an average temperature of about 98.7 degrees. Some people run a little cooler, 98.6, 98.5. Some people run a little hotter, 98.7, 98.8. But basically 98.7 degrees is the average body temperature, right? If you look at this picture here, this is evidencing through the spectrograph, the electricity, the energy, the light, because electricity is simply light. We have light inside of our body. We are light beings, literally, not just from a spiritual, metaphysical, metaphorical standpoint, but from a literal scientific standpoint. We are light bodies. And that 98.7 degrees is evidence of the infrared light that we have inside of our bodies that emanates and glows outside of our bodies. So if I were to look at you with night vision goggles, I would see you glowing in the dark. In fact, the military and the police department, they use night vision goggles and they see people glowing in the dark. You could see them glowing in the dark because that's the infrared light that's not contained within the body. Your body just glows. And so that is part and parcel of how this works. If you think about a diamond crystal and you were to flash a light onto a diamond crystal, whether it's a flashlight or any kind of a light, you see that light crystal, that diamond crystal is going to reflect back to your eyes all the different colors of the rainbow, right? And the same is true when you take our stem cell activation patches, this little white circle here on the patch, it looks like just a little white circle, but it's a nanotechnology. It's called a nanotechnology because you can't see it with the naked eye. The naked eye just sees a white circle. However, upon closer inspection, you'll see that there's many, many, many different organic sugar crystals, organic salt crystals, organic hydrogen, oxygen, water, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids. And those tiny little crystals, those little nanotechnology are arranged in a very specific geometrical pattern, and they're set to a certain frequency. There's a whole branch of science and medicine that's called frequency medicine, where you use just different sound frequencies and different frequencies to create certain effects in the human body. And so these crystals are set to a very specific frequency and set to a particular geometrical pattern to result in a very specific effect. So about phototherapy, let's talk a little bit about that. So while phototherapy has been defined as the use of ultraviolet light for its healing effects, the light wave patches have been specifically developed to reflect light in the infrared and visible light bands back onto the skin where the patch has been placed. Supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near infrared, and visible spectrum light. This then stimulates the area of the skin, producing improved physiological effects. Variations on phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years or more. And in that time, there has been little evidence of negative side effects. And this suggests that this is a relatively untapped option for healing with relatively few risks. So I want you to notice that our patches are non-transdermal. Non means doesn't, transdermal, transfers into the dermis, transfers in the skin. So nothing transfers into the skin. They're non-invasive. They're organic, holistic, FDA compliant, class 1 medical devices under the general wellness category, and we manufacture our products at FDA registered facilities in the United States. And our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board. So we manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device. And in fact, our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485. That's a quality standard. If you're interested in listening to David Schmidt, the scientist, inventor of this brilliant life-saving technology, if you want to hear him espouse more information about this, I can send you this particular YouTube video where he talks about this and he shares this particular information. He goes into a lot more depth about a lot of other things having to do with the patches. So the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, just be aware that the Food and Drug Administration has taken the position in the last year that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products, will be regarded as drug claims. Go figure. Pretty soon, our bones are going to be a drug. Our blood is going to be a drug. Who knows what else? But right now, they're taking that stance. The FDA also asserts that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides such as GHKCU is inappropriate for a general wellness product. Pause button here. Even though we have 90 clinical studies that actually show from blood tests and all sorts of other different ways of scanning and verifying this at a cellular level, even though we have confirmation of that, the FDA is claiming that we cannot say that. So we're not allowed to inform you of that any longer. This is a very recent development. So as a result, we can't say that, although the clinical studies show that. And in fact, we also have through PubMed, if you just do your own search of the activation of GHKCU copper peptide in just what the government will allow you to read and watch and read, you'll see that there are thousands of studies where Lauren Picard's study was reproduced from 1973. He, in fact, won a Nobel Prize for that work. So moving on, it's important for you to be aware that you got to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. Why? Because the body is primarily composed of water. A baby is about 82% water. 60-year-olds is about 55% water. As we age, we lose hydration, of course, but it's important to note that your DNA is 92% water. Think about that. Your DNA, which is responsible for so much in your body, is 92% water. So that's the primary structure that holds your DNA. When you are dehydrated, not only there's a lot of things in your body that shrinks when you're dehydrated, but one of them is your brain shrinks when you're dehydrated. The other thing is that you put your DNA in compromise because you're dehydrated or unhydrated. The other thing is that you fold when you're dehydrated, your proteins in the body fold. When the proteins fold, you have an interruption in what we call the Krebs cycle, and there's all sorts of things in your body that don't work properly because you're dehydrated. At 2% dehydrated, you will feel thirst in your mouth. At 8%, just 8% dehydration, your DNA will start to unravel. Unraveling means it's starting to fall apart. Not a good thing. 10% dehydration, you lose your mind. And no one can survive 12% dehydration. At 12% dehydration, you're dead. All systems shut down, death instantaneously. So that's why water is very, very, very important. And while you're on the patches, even if you're not on the patches, it's important to drink water. 50% of your weight in water. So if you weigh 100 pounds, drink 50 ounces. If you weigh 150 pounds, drink 75 ounces. If you weigh 200 pounds, drink 100 ounces. 250 pounds, drink 125 ounces. You get the drift. Take your weight, divide it by 2, and that's the number of ounces you should be drinking from the time you wake up in the morning until the time you go to sleep at night. Okay. The thing to note about these patches is that you're going to be wearing these for 12 hours on and then 12 hours off. So you're going to signal your body for 12 hours, just as we have a diurnal day where you have daylight and sunlight. You have from sunrise to sunset, that's daylight. And then you have nighttime from sunset to sunrise, right? So you're going to match 12 hours of signaling your stem cells. So for 12 hours, your stem cells are going to be doing this rapid repair, regeneration, and restoration. And then you're going to match that with giving it 12 hours of rest, repair, and restore. And then the next morning, because these are morning patches primarily, Some people do wear them at night, but we recommended they were designed to be day patches with the exception of the silent nights, which is to help you go to sleep. Of course, that's a night patch. And another patch that we have to activate your pineal gland, which releases melatonin. That, of course, is a night patch only as well. But the rest of the patches are all day patches. And so you're going to wear that 12 hours on, match that with 12 hours of rest, repair, and restore, and then you discard or set them aside. We talk about Dr. John Harmon, and he's a gentleman who has been a doctor for, I believe, over 30 years. He specializes in brain function and all sorts of really fascinating things having to do with the brain. And 2 years ago, he found himself being diagnosed and having terrible symptoms from a right bundle branch blockage. Miserable, very unfortunate thing to happen to any human being. And 3 cardiologists confirmed that he had this condition. It was inoperable. He would have to be on heart meds for life. The long and short of it was that he knew that something had to exist out there that could help repair this. And lo and behold, that's when the patches came into his experience. And as luck would have it, he started on the patches and he wore the patches 12 hours on, 12 hours off every day, drank 50% his weight in fluid ounces of water. And 14 months, not 90 days later, not 30 days later, but 14 months later, he was able to confirm through not one, not two, but through all 3 cardiologists scanned him and showed and verified and confirmed that he no longer had a right bundle branch blockage, that in fact, it had disappeared from his body. And he also had the added bonus that through this entire process to this very day, in fact, I interviewed him last week when I was in Orlando from the 11th to the 17th at our North American Global Stem Cell Conference in Orlando, Florida. I was able to interview him. He just wrote a book on reverse aging and on GHKCU. Phenomenal book. In fact, I should share with you guys. It's this book, in case you're interested, with a fascinating read. It's called How to Reverse Aging. He talks about the importance of GHKCU and a comprehensive guide to copper peptides. Even people who are allergic to copper, I would encourage you to read this book. It's fascinating. He also dedicated it to me. So I did an interview. I will be uploading that to YouTube. He signed it. Isn't that cool? But Dr. John, you can see that in addition to benefiting from having his right bundle branch blockage being repaired and restored to a younger, healthier state, he also had the benefit of rejuvenating. He went from looking like this, where I could play tic-tac-toe on his forehead, and he had a lot of inflammation around the eyes. He had a lot of wrinkles on his face, wrinkle on his chin. His hair is now brown. It went back to the original brown color. He still has gray on the sides, but the wrinkles, the texture of his skin really improved quite a bit. Inflammation around his eyes and inside his body, for the most part, is gone. And he looks about 15, 20 years younger, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Okay. Oh, by the way, it's good to note that when you're just 25 years old, think about it, at 30 years old, 50% of your stem cells turn off. So at 25, just 5 years before, your fibroblasts that are one of the primary things in the production of collagen, that's starting to decline when you're just 25 years old. At about 25, you have about 20 to 25% of your stem cells that have already turned off, just 25 years of age. So real quickly, Barry was a guy who had long haulers COVID, was suffering really bad with long haulers COVID, horrible insomnia, could not sleep at all. Nothing worked to put him to sleep. He would get up every morning with headaches, with nausea, with very heavy fatigue, low stamina, just not feeling good at all. And we started him on the patches on June 23rd, and he wore the patches for 12 hours, then removed them, matched that with 12 hours of rest, repair, and restore. The very next day, I got this text message through Facebook Messenger, and it says, "Hey, Lillian, just a note, don't know if it's a placebo or the stem cell activation patches work that quick or what, but I had really good sleep, a little better sleep than other nights. I fell asleep quicker. Today, I'm just on a high. I'm ecstatic." And Gwen sees that in me, and I feel really, really good physically. When I woke this morning, no headache, no nausea. Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal day. So thank you. And I'll update you as we go along. Hope all is well. Thanks. Bye. that was a Christmas gift for me. When I received that, my friend is in relief. He lives in Toronto, Canada. And so now he's basically a new man. Kathy McCarthy had terrible autoimmune disorder from 3 breast implants that she suffered with for 33 years. And she, like Dr. Harmon, who got his right bundle branch blockage, was fixed, it was repaired, it was regenerated, it was restored, damaged tissue was replaced with original tissue inside of his body, because that's what the stem cells do, the pluripotent cells in your body. Kathy was also a benefactor of this life-saving technology. She took our recommendation to take a picture before and every 30 days since she got started on the patches. And here you see in January, you see in March, a lot less wrinkles. June, the wrinkles are gone. You just see some evidence of some of the lines that used to be there. And in July, all the wrinkles and fine lines are gone. She did go on to give me an interview and share her entire story. There's a pretty cool surprise if you watch that story at Love and Money Secrets TV, or you can go to damelillianwalker.com. That will point you towards my YouTube channel. It's a great interview. As you can see, she's quite beautiful, quite lovely. Prior to that interview, she would not give us her profile picture, which doesn't make any sense because, believe it or not, she was 63 during this picture. She's now 64, and she really does look like that. You'll see that in the video. She looks like she's 35, 40 years old. It's really amazing. Briefly, this is my testimonial. I got on the patches. My hair was a lot drier, coarse, thinner, and you can see how much softer, silkier, smoother my hair is there and here since starting on the patches. Plus, I had a bald spot from the point of impact because I was hit by a bus just 3 blocks shy of completing a 16-mile bike ride back in 2017. So when I started the patches, I had been trying for 5 years to finish clearing up some of these symptoms and to grow back my hair because I could not put my hair up in a ponytail. And now when I got on the patches, in the 4th month of wearing the patches, I experienced 70% hair growth in the back of my hair. I didn't notice any hair growth the 1st month, the 2nd month, the 3rd month. It wasn't until the 4th month, I just happened to be curling my hair, and I just happened to have a piece of hair that was about 3 to 4 inches long. And I was like, why is my hair so short? And it was a different texture and it was darker. And I thought, oh my gosh, I touched back there and it's no longer bald. So when I went to my hairdresser said, yeah, it's about 70% all filled up. And in fact, she goes, you have a lot of baby hairs all over. And I could see you have baby hairs around your hairline. And she goes, we're going to have to get those to kind of settle down with some pomade and whatnot and hair shine. The bottom line is I had an amazing amount of regeneration and restoration from this. You can, if you're interested, I do have several podcasts and YouTube channels that have interviewed me since then about my story of transformation. And that's why I put these pictures together. You'll also notice that I was unaware that I had crow's feet, but I did. I don't have them anymore, thank goodness. And I also had hooded eyelids, which I didn't know of until I put these pictures side by side here in June of this year. And actually, it was July of 2023. And you'll see that you can see how much the hooded part is now like retracted back. It has shrunk back. My left eye has a little bit more. My right eye doesn't have any at all. It's been, let's see, July, August, September, October. It's been another 4 months. So I probably should, you guys can probably see through this video better than I can. I'll have to look at the mirror and take a closer look. But basically, there has been some rejuvenation aspects to this. But really, what's more exciting for me, aside from silkier, softer, smoother, and more hair, more volume, I got rid of all this stuff, which was what a relief when you, and it doesn't happen overnight. Just you start to notice this is gone, this is gone. Oh, I got this back. When I got my memory back faster and just more efficient than before, that was a big deal for me as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about X39. And this is what it does. It resets 1/3 of your genes to a younger, healthier state. It regenerates cells by replacing damaged cells. It restores your collagen, which is your #1 building block protein. It rebuilds scar tissue. It reduces fine lines and wrinkles, increases energy, your sexual libido, antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation, provides you pain relief anywhere from 50 to 100% within 3 to 4 minutes. Gives you improved hair growth. Like I was a benefactor of having improved hair growth, even though the 90 clinical studies didn't measure hair growth. I'm sure moving forward, they'll probably do that. We can't say that it causes hair growth because that would be a medical claim. But my experience is, and the experience of so many other people is improved hair growth. Many people get their original hair color back if they've gone gray. So that's a very exciting, thing to be aware of. And everyone has a significant deeper, sounder sleep in the first 24 hours, definitely in the first 30 days of wearing the patches. We see that repeatedly. We also have a Veritas Concilium. It's a recommendation. It's a true plan of action. Veritas means true. Concilium is plan of action. Using traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points to magnify the effects of the patches on the body. So I'm going to jump down now to, let's see. So we're going to talk about, are you familiar with the fact that the blue light environment in which you live, you are watching this broadcast, our cell phones, our desktops, our laptops, our iPads, our notebooks, our homes, our work, our car is all LED lights. Trains and planes have all LED lights. Places of commerce, supermarkets, stores, offices all have LED lights, fluorescent lights, halogen lights, all of which cause blue light toxicity. Why should you care about blue light toxicity? Big deal. Who cares? Well, you should care because blue light toxicity, it destroys DHEA, the fountain of youth hormone, which luckily our patches increase your DHEA, fountain of youth hormone. But the blue light causes inflammation in the body. It causes insulin resistance. It causes damage and dysregulation to your cells. Inside your cells, you have something called mitochondria, which are these tiny little organelles. They're like these little energy factories that they are the ones that produce energy and ATP to run your entire body. Now, if you have inflammation, if you have insulin resistance, you have all this stuff going on, you're going to have a compromise to your mitochondria, which means that that is the beginning of a lot of chronic inflammatory conditions that people have and dysregulations to the different systems of the body. Does that make sense? So let's talk about what this costs. And obviously, we can't charge you $1 million for these patches, although a lot of people would be more than willing to pay $1 million to repair, to restore, to regain their health and their well-being and their improving their longevity and regaining just youthfulness, right? We know that's traditional stem cell therapies by IV or injection, which we can't get in the United States. You have to leave the country, you have to travel, get hotels, all that kind of stuff. But those run anywhere from 8,000 to 11,000 plus cost of travel and so forth that's associated with that. This, my friends and gems, is going to just cost you, it's $5 a day retail. So for the price of just two coffees a day, you can get started on the Fantastic Five. We just talked about the X39 today. And if you're willing to order 3 months in advance or more, or if you're willing to buy a year's worth of patches, some people want to get a year of X39, then you can bring the price down to as low as $2.80. It's about 50% less in cost, which is a tremendous savings. And that's our most popular package. I'm just going to share this with you here. If you want to get started on the Fantastic Five, we recommend the Gold Pack, which has all 5 patches that take care of the primary systems of the body. We just talked about the Mother Stem Cell Activation Patch today. Just the Mother Stem Cell Activation Patch by itself. This is $149 a month. So this is a 1 month supply. This envelope is called a sleeve. It has 30 patches in it. You get the mother and the daughter stem cell activation patch. Just those two, they're $149 a piece. That's $300 just for those two. However, those are the retail prices. You can get 3 of these on a silver pack for $450, or you can do the Fantastic Five where it's $750 retail, but your price per sleeve then drops to $100 each. Again, if you're willing to buy patches in advance, then your diamond pack will give you a year's worth of the Mother Stem Cell Activation Patch. It won't cost you almost $3,000. It'll only cost you $1,599 if you come back to the person who referred you to this video, whoever referred you to this video, to this broadcast, or you come back to myself or to Carol or to Edgar, whoever it is who recommended that you check this life-saving technology out. Just get back to them and then they can set you up on a doctor wholesale pack. We just need this information. We can send you the 2 Get Started text. Here we go. We can send you the 2 Get Started text, which is just going to answer all these questions so we can fill all this in so we can then enter it into our back office. If you prefer to just go retail and pay the $5 a patch, you can do that too. You just go to the lifewave.com site, to the person who referred you. If I'm the one who referred you, go to me or to Carol. If Carol or Edgar referred you or anyone else who may not be on this broadcast, but that sent you this link, sent you to this YouTube channel, sent you the Zoom link so that you could participate on this live or on the replay. And then you'll be able to get your patches there, and you'll also commit to a 6-month auto ship on the retail side. On the wholesale side, 100% of the money, as you can see here, all goes towards the product. You would get a doctor wholesale pack because of the connection that you have with us. And the nice thing about the doctor wholesale packs is you always get free sleeves when you do that. So that's a nice little perk. If you want to learn more about the 90 clinical studies, perhaps you're a doctor, a holistic care practitioner, or just a neuro nerd, someone who really loves to geek out on all the science and technology, and you want to do a deep dive study of the 90 clinical studies. Maybe you just want to eyeball them. You just want to see that the studies are, they're double-blind, placebo-controlled studies. They're fantastic. They were done in the United States, in Europe, and in Asia. We also have 120 patents. Those are also posted here at our educational site, startx39now.com. There's a 2-minute video, a 3-minute video, and an 18-minute video, as well as a few testimonials that you can check out. Most important thing is to get back to the person who referred you to this information here so that we can get all your questions answered. We have almost 900 doctors and holistic care practitioners that are in our group. We have Dr. Stacy Hallweger, who's the head of that group. She is absolutely amazing. She's a double PhD. She has a integrative medicine medical degree, as well as a functional medicine medical degree, an incredible amount of wealth of knowledge. Many of the doctors and the holistic care practitioners have multiple, some of them have MDs and PhDs. Some of them have multiple PhDs. Dr. Melshi has 3 PhDs. It's not uncommon for a lot of the doctors to have multiple, either MDs and PhDs in different aspects of health, well-being, and of medicine. So someone or the collective is bound to be able to get back to you with an answer to whatever specific question you might have, tailored to your particular needs and tailored to your particular condition. Okay. So again, if you want to get the To Get Started text, you might be busy and can't get on a call. You can just call. If you call, it's transcribed in form of a text, or you can just outright text, and we'll send you the To Get Started text so we can get you started and we'll help you. We want to rise and meet you to whatever level of participation you'd like. All right. If you want to watch the replay of this video, if you're on YouTube, you already at Love and Money Secrets TV. For those of you who aren't yet, you can visit damelillianwalker.com. That will just take you to YouTube, to my channel. There you will see not only this video, but the stories of body and mind transformation, a lot of educational videos. I have a lot of studies where I break it down into layman's term, explaining what everything means into layman's terms so that you can understand it and ascribe a meaning to what it is that these patches are actually doing to you to improve your body, to get it to a younger, healthier state. All right. Thanks for being here today. Does anybody have any questions?
Lillian, Annie Reeves would like to speak with you when you have time.
Okay, I will give Annie a call as soon as we hang up here. All right, my friends and gems, if no one has any further questions, Carol, it's always a delight to see your beautiful, radiant face. You started on August 3rd. Ask me, how can I remember the day that she signed up to get her patches ordered? I know that she started on Tuesday, the 8th. It's a testament to these patches. They increase your memory, your focus, and your brain processing speed. That's why I'm able to remember those dates. The same thing with Barry, who had long haulers, Fito, who had a calcified parasite in his brain. We started him on the patches on June 23rd of last year. I'm able to remember all this stuff because this stuff works. It works incredibly well. Carol, thank you, my beautiful friend and gem. As always.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao for now. Bye, Edgar.
Bye, Edgar.
Oh, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button. Hit like and hit subscribe because it helps other people find this content like you that are looking for different ways to repair and restore your body.